I think the past year has been really a sea change in the understanding that ad blocking has to the digital media ecosystem. We've gone through this stage where, most publishers weren't really aware of the threat, to today where people are starting to understand that there is really the canary in the coal mine. We've seen browsers like Brave and plugins like AdBlock Plus really step up and increase that sort of extortion game to many of the publishers and many of the platforms. And people are really looking for what will make the digital media ecosystem sustainable for the long term. Sourcepoint is really about providing those choices to publishers and having a software as a service platform that will allow people to choose whether or not they want advertising to subsidize their content consumption or if they want to pay them directly. And we've been having amazing feedback from publishers around that value exchange.
So what are some anecdotes, like what seems to be working, what's attractive, what's kind of getting lift? You have a variety of offerings, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, and choice is the big thing that's working. We see companies like Forbes and companies like Gruner and Jahr. We see some amazing tests on a number of English sites that we're working with. Super exciting. How many people whitelist versus how many people are actually choosing to pay a subscription versus how many people are deciding on authenticating and having customizable advertising units. I think there are many ways to pay for content, and in order to provide the best user experience, there's a necessity to allow that to be tailored to the individual user.
So as we get ready for Cannes, what do you think the conversation will be about ad blocking? Will it be a big topic, or what do you think will be on people's minds?
I think it'll be significant. I mean, Cannes is one of my favorite times of year. I think the coming together of such a wide array of incredible talent and top tier executives from all of the biggest companies within the advertising and marketing world creates this atmosphere that really excels in doing business and finding out about the newest things. I think as it relates to ad blocking, I think the conversation is going to shift more towards content compensation and how do advertisers create those products at scale that will help publishers subsidize the amazing content that they create. Because everyone really wants access to the most amazing content, and advertisers have and will continue to create their own content and help subsidize the creation of content by premium publishers.
And briefly, the topic of mobile, we talked about this briefly some months ago about iOS and so on. What's the state of ad blocking in mobile and issues that publishers are facing? Is it more desktop, or where does that stand? What's the mix?
I think it's going to grow. I think ad blocking on mobile is 2-3%. It was really just introduced to the iOS ecosystem late last summer, early fall. And so, while there are a number of downloads, there's still just the path to downloading and installing an ad blocker is a little bit too complex for the average user to implement today. I would say that over time it will be much easier. If you think back to the times of the 2000, 2002, pop-ups were ubiquitous, and then over time every browser had a pop-up blocker, and now you wouldn't have a browser today, whether that is mobile or desktop, that doesn't have a pop-up blocker. Fortunately or not, right? It may be that we're entering an era where every browser, mobile or not, will have an ad blocker natively installed. Whether that comes from, and you're seeing that today in Mozilla, you're seeing it in Brave, you're seeing it in Maxthon. So these are three major, major browser companies that come pre-installed with ad blockers. this trend is not going to go away. I think we're going to see ad blocking to some degree really proliferate across all browsers. And so, it's preparation for that increase in utilization and an understanding what does the future of standardized advertising look like. So I think we're going to go from content compensation awareness to compensation consent, that publishers are going to offer users the ability to consent to having advertisers subsidize the content. And then from there, I think the choice part of the equation will actually be the accepted way of publishers communicating with their users around the overall experience.